Jules like when she first like brings Kevin over one time and she's like, why didn't you ever make a pass to me? And then like she asks him if he's gay. And I love how she like tries to set him up with her roommate, the designer, and he just keeps showing up throughout the movie.
Loki, he was like one of my favorites.
Hi, Ron.
He was so disappointed at the end when like he found out.
Yeah, he's with Leslie.
Yeah,
and he's like, "Hold on 1 second. Hi, Ron." Ron's like, "Hey."
I also think that Jules is one of those people, and I think we see it throughout the movie until we find out that she has issues. But Jules seems like reminds me of one of those girls that her dad obviously was set pretty well. Like we find out in the beginning. And it seems like she was one of those like trust fund kids who like always had like the money but never had the love.
Yeah.
And because of that, like you guys were saying, like over exuberated this like happiness energy and like always had to be like involved in everyone's problems. That's why she went to Kevin and was like, why you never pass at me? Are you gay? Trying to set him up with the roommate. And then like it's funny that like they did that because like totally breaks down towards the end. And you see that she's actually one of the weakest out of the group.
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing with Alec because he was like he was the guy that everyone looked at as like he's the guy who has it all together,
right?
But then like he also kind of like flipped on his morals because he was leader of the Democrat club in college, becomes a Republican, doesn't have any like backbone with that, and then he's like really insecure about like his girl. I feel like because he needs to marry her, which is like he just wasn't.
It seems like he's just trying to check the boxes.
Yeah, he's really concerned about
exactly.
The image.
That's a perfect way to say it.
Classic politician trying to rise the ranks,
but deep down, like he
like you say, gotta check all the boxes.
He was going through his own stuff, like
he was.
Yeah.
I like how everybody's they're all just trying to like figure out adulthood.
Yeah,
it's what it really is. It's like the Breakfast Club where they're trying to figure out high school and growing up, but now it's like, oh, like we're really in this. Like
I really thought that,
but it still felt pretty like. Not too like high stakes for them though.
I agree.
Right.
Completely agree.
Kind of shows how like the 20s, like I don't know, everyone's like you live in your 20s. The 20s are the best times of your life, and like you'll experience so much great stuff, and like never like forget your 20s. Like everyone's parents say that, and I think there's a lot of truth to that. But I also think from this movie you see too, like living on your own when you're 20 is also very scary.
It's not easy.
It's such an uncertain time in your life where anything could happen. Like. I don't know. You really see that from like the character's growth, like where Billy goes from not really caring about work to then selling his saxophone to have to pay rent, and then working at the car place and then getting his sax back. Like you already see like he's already like changed so much throughout the movie. Like I don't know. His mindset has grown so much, but I think that's something that we all go through in life, which is kind of cool. Get to see that from them in the movie aspect.
Yeah. Who do you guys think is we kind of talked about both of them, but who do you think was creepy? I guess we kind of talked about this a little bit. I thought Kirby was creepy. I also thought Kevin was creepy. You kind of talked about that.
Wait,
but you don't think Kevin was creepy?
Do you think Kevin is that the same guy who played the stepdad from the Santa Claus? I'm almost convinced.
I haven't seen that.
It was him.
100% sure it is. I think.
Right, like the face.
So. I'm pretty sure it's Andrew McCarthy.
Andrew,
that's his name.
It could not be.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm gonna look it up.
Definitely do, please.
So you guys think that like Kevin wasn't creepy at all, though?
What do you mean by creepy or how creepy?
The pictures was creepy.
Pictures were creepy,
but the pictures aren't creepy in a way because I feel like the pictures are very much so just a sign of the times.
Yeah.
Like because not gonna call anyone out, but
you could just have a stash of.
Yeah, we all like. I mean, we all catch ourselves sometimes on Instagrams like lurking through people's pages, and I feel like that's like in some way kind of similar, you know. So like, maybe like you don't have like pictures of some random girl saved on your phone. But,
you also had a coffin in his house for no reason.
He also did have a coffin in his house.
That guy was weird. I don't know.
Really strange.
He thought he would get the ladies.
Oh, let's talk about his talks with the prostitute. That was kind of random.
I kind of liked them.
I liked that part.
Yeah,
that was funny. But
there were a lot of like almost surreal moments in this movie. Like literally the first scene, the very beginning when like they show the graduation. And then the flashing lights, and they walk into the hospital, and there's just a naked dude like walking by.
I didn't see. I missed that part.
I missed that.
Like a chubby naked dude.
I was like, oh, this is absurd.
Which also, I wonder if that's like an allusion to like the St. Elmo's fire, of it being like
just
like
flashes.
a plasma out of darkness, out of nowhere, like it being just like a random. Like,
that's what the movie is.
Yeah, the movie kind of is. It's like a random like blurb in time.
It's a flash of moments in time.
Also, there's no real plot in it. It's kind of just like
the time is like hard to figure out.
It's sort of like Days Confused a little bit, where it's just like.
But it's not just like one day.
Yeah, but it's like one like couple months. But there's no set like climax. Yeah.
I'd say there's a rising action and a climax.
No, you're right.
The climax being Jules. Jules' breakdown.
Yeah. But it's like it's just life though. I mean, it's not like
nothing
crazy happens. It's just life.
A snapshot.
That's what I meant by some of these.
Well, I think that's like honestly the really like one of the coolest things about the movie is like can like play on so many emotions. I think because of the fact that it relates so much to life still. Like,
timeless.
In a lot of ways, but I think in a lot of ways it also doesn't. Just because I mean, like going back to Kirby, he literally goes to this girl's house like that one night and is like spamming on her buzzer, like open the door, and then goes up to the roommate when she opens the window and she's like, tell me where what's her name? I forget her name again.
Dale.
Tell me where Dale is. And she's like, why should I tell you? And he's like, I'm not responsible for what happens if you don't.
That was really weird,
he's like, what'd I do to you?
Yeah, and it's like no way in today's day and age would like anyone hear that and be like, on the street. Okay, I'm gonna tell you where this person is and not call the police. But so I think in some aspects that's like very much so not like realistic, but I think it also plays a lot too. Like
I loved also how when he got to the ski house, he like whips into the driveway and you see him drive in like to the snow, and I watched it happen the first time. I was like, oh, that car's stuck.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Also, it's funny. He took the car from Wendy and her fiance, unhinged. And just like broke it in the first night. Like it broke down the brand new car.
Also, I feel really bad for Wendy because she not like because of this, because she obviously didn't want to marry that guy or get engaged to the guy. But when she's talking to her dad. And her dad's like, and she goes to her dad and she's like, I love Billy. And like, we kind of get to this moment where like, because she was done with Billy too. She was like, Billy's immature.
Yeah.
Billy had also
at the start of the movie, she was like, I know I need to move on.
Right. And Billy also wronged her in so many ways. Like that day when they were at her house with the family dinner and
just hops up on the roof.
Yeah, he's on the roof. And then after that, like he pulls on her Spanx and kind of like makes fun of her and stuff like that. Like, there were so many like points in time in their relationship where she like I don't know, like he was so like offensive to her in a way, and like just like disregarded her feelings as a person. And then for her to say that she loves him still, like went back for him, and then like loses her virginity to him, but then he still leaves at the end. It's not like they end up together. Like she low key just gets like kind of used for the whole movie. It seems like, but I guess in a way like I don't know, maybe she gets her own closure from that. I don't know.
Probably, I think.
Yeah, but I thought that was interesting just because everyone else kind of seems to like have like more of like a concrete plan at the end of the movie, and she's like the only one that's kind of like still on track.
She finally gets Billy, then he just leaves.
Right,
which is what I'm talking about. Billy like doesn't really,
but she gets her own freedom.
And maybe that's true. Like, it's maybe more of being spontaneous and just having fun. Maybe,
and she's no longer under like the leash of her dad. Maybe.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah, I mean Billy at the end too, going to New York also is like a big change too, because I think that's like the one motif, I guess, like. They're trying to push, like, go for your dreams.
Yeah, also leaving college. Like, he couldn't just stay there anymore. Like, he had to move on.
Right.
That was his big thing.
I think he also, honestly, he's honestly a very relatable character, I feel like, to, like, a lot of college kids, maybe. Especially
entering, like, their last year of college. Right. Like, very relatable. Like, no one... He's probably the least adjusted to the real world, I think.
Yeah, it's probably because, like, honestly, he's, like, a good-looking dude. If you think about it, he probably peaked so hard in college. Or not peaked so hard, but, yeah, I mean, peaked so hard. He probably was getting every girl ever. He was in a frat. Like, good-looking dude, played an instrument. He probably was slaying every night. The sax, like, come on. And probably, like, going into the real world after that, where everyone's, like, more focused on, I'm going to find myself someone with a job. And he's just this, like, drifter now. Mm-hmm. It goes from being, like, top dog to bottom, like, feet of the pool, you know? I don't know. Yeah.
He still got a sax.
Got a sax.
Did he buy a new one? Because, like...
He must have.
I think he got a...
They didn't really... I knew he was going to play sax in the club, but they never actually talked about him buying a new sax.
True. Yeah, not a major detail, I guess. Yeah. Didn't make it to post.
Exactly. Also, this movie has a pretty low rating on, like... what do you call it? Rotten Tomato.
Rotten Tomato. Okay.
Which is very surprising, because I thought it was, like, a really, like... I thought it was, like, the a pretty good equivalent of the Breakfast Club for college. You know, like you were talking about that earlier, but
the Breakfast Club came out first, and I'd say the Breakfast Club is definitely better, more memorable characters and like moments.
Oh, I did do really bad. 42% on Rotten Tomatoes.
But I enjoyed it.
I really like the movie. Honestly.
I think it's a really solid movie. I don't know how. I wonder how they decide that. You think like the cocaine in the movie and like.
I wonder if it's honestly because there's not like. I mean, there is like substance to the movie, but I'm wondering if it's because it's like you said, it's just like a day in the life. It's normal things happening, maybe.
Yeah.
And honestly, like when it came out, I think us watching it as kids growing up in the 2000s, looking back at the 80s, we're all like, honestly, we look at the 80s and any time period that we weren't living in. I think we look at it as like a mystical time period, you know, and like every time period that's not ours seems so much better than ours.
Yeah.
And I feel like those people that were rating the movies in the 80s, or wherever like during that time period, were probably like, well, yeah, I mean, well, probably honestly, they were probably like, this is so unrealistic to what the 80s are actually like.
Probably wasn't special. Like,
well, it's a movie. Did they have Rotten Tomatoes in the 80s?
I wonder if there was Rotten Tomatoes in the 80s. There definitely had to have been like some equivalent, right?
Well, yeah, there was movie critics and stuff. Well, I don't know if they had Rotten Tomatoes.
One thing I really didn't like about the movie was at the end when, like, you know how like Alec almost like killed Kevin by holding him over the balcony.
Oh yeah.
And then, like the next day, like Leslie was saying like, oh, you know, I just want to be single. And they were like playfully joking, like, "Oh, I don't know if I'm okay with." Like, how could they be friends after that?
I'm wondering if that was the next day.
I know, but I feel. Well, I'm not saying how could they be friends. I'm saying how can Kevin make a joke? Because Kevin did kind of screw over Alex, and that.
I don't know if he did though, because Alex screwed over himself. You know.
Yeah.
Like genuinely, I don't know. Like I don't have an issue with Kevin sleeping with Leslie. I don't have an issue with the way it went down because genuinely, like, she calls him out. He ends up folding and giving himself away.
Yeah.
And then Alec also runs into the party, makes a fool of himself, pushes Kevin to the ground, knocks over the pot, like, and makes a big scene, like, why did you tell Leslie all this? And Leslie's like, I didn't, and I just had a hunch, but you confirmed it. And, like, after that, I mean, Kevin's just really trying to console her. If anything, Leslie's the one that kind of pushes it on Kevin to, like, have sex with him, you know?
Yeah, I'm not saying I didn't think it was a good part of them. I'm saying like I just thought it was very unbelievable. Like,
okay.
I just didn't. I like maybe like, oh come on, that's just so like corny. That's how I thought of that part, honestly.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but you know, you have sex with your best friend's girlfriend. You kind of expect to, or not expect. Like I feel like I would offer, if I were to do that, which like I probably wouldn't, but if I were, I would offer my best friend whose girlfriend I slept with. I'd offer him to like just a free punch or something.
Yeah.
So like kind of dangling you and almost killing you. Like that's
I'm okay
payback.
with the dangling a little bit.
And you gotta realize like, okay, I fucked your girlfriend.
I just
you almost killed me. Like,
I agree. Right. I agree with the dangling.
No
part.
harm, no foul.
I just don't agree with. I feel like they were way too corny at the end. Like they would have been like, all right, I'm not gonna talk to you. They could have been like, all right, we're cool, but like we're not gonna be joking around. Like
and they do the noise again. We're just like,
oh my god, that part was like hard to watch. We're in the bathroom. Boogly boogly boogly. Ha ha ha.
I know. After he stuck his head in the toilet, I'd be so mad.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, how sloshed was Billy like during that? Like his character, because like there's no way that any sober person would be like, oh yeah, you just gave me a swirly, I'm good with that. Let's go.
Yeah, in like the 80s with like the AIDS crisis in the toilet. Oh man.
Yeah, that also it's a bar bathroom. There's no way that like toilet was anywhere near clean, dude. I would have been like,
and he goes, yo, what's in? Yeah,
what's in? You also smell like a toilet.
I know he doesn't even try to like wipe, like get a paper towel in his hair.
Also, going back to Rotten Tomatoes. So sorry to interrupt you, Steve, but Rotten Tomatoes came out in 1998, and St. Elmo's Fire was released in 1985.
So I wonder when they rated
that.
I feel like you can't. I feel like those rating sites aren't actually like realistic. I mean, they're not a good basis of what a good movie is at all.
Well, I mean, IMDb is pretty solid, right?
Yeah,
IMDb is good.
Give them a higher rating, 6.4.
That's so low though. I think it should. I mean, I guess
that's not bad. You can't. You can't give every Brat Pack movie an 8.5.
I've only seen 2. Yeah, that's fair.
And again, I think that a lot of like the praise and like stuff that we give it comes from us, like just looking at an 80s movie and like the nostalgia of it being an 80s movie.
Yeah.
Because like I don't know, I mean like movies were just differently, like they were filmed different back then. Like I made a note of it while watching, but like a lot of their like costumes and like the sets and stuff like almost seem like theatrical in a way, you know?
Yeah,
like where movies nowadays, like they're like you're on set But like I don't know, like this movie, it seemed like we were on like a theater production almost, like
almost
in a way.
It was like not. I don't even know how to describe, like, not minimalistic, but although, like, I wanted to talk about Alec in Leslie's apartment, where it's, like, the